Hey guys, good to see you. I hope you're getting outside and enjoying nature for a bit. We're gonna do our mindfulness out here, which is always nicer when you get to do mindfulness practice outside. And then I'll take you back to my house and we'll talk about how we're gonna wrap up Parable of the Sower. So for mindfulness practice today, if you want to do this in a setting outside, you can, or you can just do it along with me. We're going to practice one of the mantras that we did once in class, where we breathe in and think of the word so, and breathe out and think of the word hum. So, hum. So, get yourself comfortable, relax your shoulders, close your eyes, and start to gently breathe. Inhale, so, exhale, hum. And just take a few breaths repeating that mantra. So, hum. And find a good centering place. And if you have paper nearby, you can write this down, or you can just check in with yourself. How are you feeling today? And why does that make sense? All right, hi English 2. We're back from the woods and you're joining me now on my front porch for the rest of this lesson. So please take a moment to make sure that you have your Parable of the Sower book with you. And as we go, you might be typing things onto the class worksheet on Google Classroom. Feel free to pause this, type your answer, come back. And we'll end this by going over the classwork that you have to complete by Wednesday at 3:30. So, the first thing I want to present to you is the writing prompt. And I want to ask you, what's one thing you do miss about physically going to school and one thing you don't miss? To share my own prompt with you, I miss seeing all the teachers I work with. I miss seeing all your faces. I really miss having a schedule. I miss having the bell ring and knowing where I have to be at any given moment. I don't miss waking up early. It's really nice sleeping in. I don't sleep in that late, but I enjoy it. So the first activity we're gonna do, I'm gonna ask you to turn to page 302 in your book. And I actually have to go grab my book. Be right back. Okay, have my book. I'm gonna start on 302, just below the space. I left Maura, went over to Allie, and walked with her for a while. Her grief and resentment were like a wall against me, against everyone, I suppose. But I was the one bothering her at the moment. And I was alive, and her sister was dead. And her sister was the only family she had left, and why didn't I just get the hell out of her face? She never said anything. She just pretended I wasn't there. She pushed Justin along in his carriage and wiped tears from her stony face now and then with a swift, whip-like motion. She was hurting herself doing that. She was rubbing her face too hard, too fast, rubbing it raw. She was hurting me too. I didn't need any more pain. I stayed with her, though, until her defenses began to crumble under a new wave of crippling grief. She stopped hurting herself and just let the tears run down her face, let them all fall to her chest or to her broken black top. She seemed to sag under a sudden weight. I hugged her then. I put my hands on her shoulders and stopped her half-blind plodding. When she swung around to face me, hostile and hurting, I hugged her. She could have broken free. I was feeling far from strong just then. But after a first angry pulling away, she hung on to me and moaned. I've never heard anyone moan like that. She cried and moaned there at the roadside, and the others stopped and waited for us. No one spoke. Justin began to whimper, and Natividad came back to comfort him. The wordless message was the same for both child and woman. In spite of your loss and pain, you aren't alone. You still have people who care about you and want you to be all right. You still have a family. After a while, Allie and I let each other go. She isn't a chatty woman, especially not in her pain. She just took Justin from Natividad, smoothed his hair, and held him. When we began walking again, she carried him for a while, and I pushed the carriage. We walked together, and there didn't seem to be any need to say anything. So what I want you to do is write down some details that you noticed that made this scene significant, things that are showing a change in Lauren, motifs that you feel like are coming back and being increasingly important in the novel. Can you hear my neighbors? Okay. The next question is to reread the first chapter in the book. And I really want you to pay attention to the symbols being used. So pick one of those pairs of symbols and write about how Octavia Butler is using those symbols to contrast each other. And just so you know, so I'm really upfront with you, I want you to practice those close reading skills. That's the thing that is most important while you're away from school, is to make sure that you retain that mastery in reading a small section of text and being able to discuss symbolism, juxtaposition, paradox, all of those literary elements that we've been studying all year. All right, last part of your lesson today is to choose 2 activities on our Wrapping Up Parable of the Sower sheet. So the first activity you can choose is finishing your Adobe Spark video. A lot of you had such great ideas in organizations you wanted to support or causes that you were passionate about. So finish those videos, make sure you have at least one quote from Parable of the Sower, and go ahead and get the link from Adobe Spark and paste it into your handout. 2, your second choice is a recommendation about Parable of the Sower, and I'm going to ask that you film that on Flipgrid and submit it. And think about ways that the book really speaks to people's lives right now. Why would someone stuck at home right now in our quarantine want to read this book? What would they get out of it? Activity 3 would involve you talking to someone at home. You're going to try to convert someone in your household, or even someone that you could call, they don't have to be in your household. Try to convert them to Earthseed. Try to use quotes from the book, really pitch to them, explain what the religion's all about, and see if you can get a convert. Doesn't matter if you're successful or not, but please write about your experience, write about what was convincing or what really didn't resonate with the person. And last one, piece of artwork. So I want you to think about how Lauren survived this period of her life. And I'm going to ask you to pick 2 quotes from the book and illustrate them. and make sure you email me if you have questions, if you just want to check in, if you want to hear about how my kids are doing and what I'm teaching to them. I just want to stay in touch with you. I miss you guys. So stay healthy and turn in your work by Wednesday at 3:30.